Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic. What are some common facts that people believe to be true even if the existing evidence states the contrary? A lot of people think they can burn belly fat by doing crunches or slim their arms down by doing push-ups, but targeted fat loss isn't possible and there's no evidence to suggest it is. Yeah, AB workouts just build up your core muscle and burn calories. The kitchen is where you lose the belly fat. Noted. Do abs in the kitchen. You can tap a block to see if it is loose in jigger, which is stated quite explicitly in the rules, and fuck you everyone who said I couldn't. It's not out until it's free of the system or it falls. I remember you can even try to put it back before it's out to try a different one. Maybe that's house rules, though. Official jigger rules. A classic jigger game consists of 54 precision crafted, specially finished hardwood blocks. To set up the game, use the included loading tray to create the initial tower. Stack all of the blocks in levels of 3 placed next to each other along their long sides and at a right angle to the previous level. Once the tower is built, the person who stacked the tower plays first. Moving in the game jigger consists of 1. Taking one block on a turn from any level of the tower, except the one below an incomplete top level, and 2. Placing it on the topmost level in order to complete it. Players may use only one hand at a time. Either hand may be used, but only one hand may touch the tower at any time. Players may tap a block to find a loose one. Any blocks moved but not played should be replaced, unless doing so would make the tower fall. The turn ends when the next player touches the tower, or after 10 seconds, whichever occurs first. The game ends when the tower falls completely or if any block falls from the tower, other than the block a player moves on a turn. The loser is the person who made the tower fall, i.e., whose turn it was when the tower fell. Interesting that if you can make it take longer than 10 seconds to fall, you technically win. Edit. Also, if the block you place falls off the tower, and nothing else falls, that appears to be fine. The most violent arguments I've had have been convincing patients with a viral cold that they don't need antibiotics. I remember a documentary a few years back about a GP's practice here in the UK. Basically filming patients, with their permission, to show a day-to-day. They literally had people come in and answer "What's the matter today?" with "I need some antibiotics." They didn't even elaborate on why, just "I need some antibiotics." You see, my roommate Dave always plays loud music at night, when I'm trying to sleep. No one likes it. So I need some antibiotics. Preferably strong ones. The mother of one of my friends fed long expired, decade-old, antibiotics to their new puppy after the vet said it probably picked up a parasite. Poor dog suffered for weeks with this treatment until she decided to take it in to get the parasite removed. She also forced my friend to fake his symptoms as something else so the doctors would give him antibiotics instead of something to treat what they thought was a viral infection. Edit. Dog is perfectly happy and healthy now. Also, thanks for the cake day stuff. 8 years, damn I'm old. A person drowning is not likely to be flailing wildly and yelling like in the movies. Drowning can often happen with mostly silence, especially with kids. Read up on the signs, it might save a life. I was drowning and lost consciousness when I was 5, I was told I barely made a sound. I went under, sucked in lungs full of water when I tried to cry out in surprise and blacked out. If it wasn't for my dad's instincts and quick action I'd be dead. The sight "Spot the Drowning Child" is a terrifying, but manageable, way to learn this. God bless the lifeguards in those videos for their reaction time. Cracking your knuckles too often will give you arthritis. Nope, no conclusive study has ever backed this up. It just releases the gas from the synovial fluid in your joints, which is neither good nor bad. There is in fact a guy who spent 60 years cracking the knuckles on his left hand twice daily, and there was no resulting difference in his hands. Yup. I think there are even pictures. Oh, that's good to know. As a kid I just accepted my fate because I liked the crack sound. Her knuckles go pop pop. It is rarely necessary to wait 24 hours before filing a missing person report. Yup. Our police has this listed on their Facebook page as a common myth. Someone really needs to let Hollywood know. That 30 used to be considered ancient back when the average lifespan was 25 or whatever. The average is offset by a huge number of child deaths. 30 was never ancient. Even hunter-gatherer societies had people routinely living into their 60s. Piggybacking off this, that girls were married off in their early teens in the medieval period. This is based off the nobility and royalty, who did marry off their young daughters as a political tool to secure alliances. However, even when the young royals were only 12 or 13 when wed, they were often married by proxy and married in name only. The married couple were often kept separate until either the girl came of age, aka got her first period to produce children, or were just deemed old enough to start living together in the same castle, which wasn't until around 17 to 20 years old. The vast majority, like the peasantry, weren't married until their early 2020s. Women in the peasantry often did have a choice on who they got to marry, unlike their noble components who were used as bargaining chips. Edit to add, as a woman who got her first period at 13, I know that the average age a girl gets her period today is around 11 to 30 years old. Keyword being today. I am talking about the medieval times, which are roughly between 1000 to 1300 and between 1000 to 800 years ago. As many others have already pointed out, the average age for a girl to get her first period would have been closer to around 15 to 16 years of age. Another edit to add, I am not an expert on this, nor have I paid as much attention to this as I have on medieval marriage age, but it is generally believed access to better nutrition from medieval Europe to today's Europe is causing the average age of girls stick to lower. There is also the belief that the artificial hormones and additives in food are messing with hormones, as well as artificial fragrances and dyes etc., not just for girls, boys as well. However, I haven't seen this belief outside of Dr. Ounce, so you can guess it isn't as credible as the nutrition belief. Vikings never actually drank from skulls of enemies. This was based on a mistranslation of Old Norse poetry in which they refer to drinking from horns. They never had horns on their helmets either. Even as a kid, I thought that would be wildly inconvenient. The enemy could knock the helmet off of you super easily. That if you touch a baby animal, like a bird or rabbit, its mother will neglect it and it will die. That is a myth. It was just a way for parents to get their kids to leave baby animals alone. Yeah, a few weeks ago, a baby bird fell out of its nest in our backyard. It survived and my dad was going to put it out of its misery until I told him that this myth wasn't true. We put it in a cardboard box on the table closest to its tree with some food and water and just left it alone. Its parents found it the next day and were bringing it food, and within a couple of days, it was gone. Since it's that time of year, if people do find baby birds, with feathers on the ground, the best thing to do is leave them where they are, or move them to a safer location nearby if animals or kids are a concern. The chicks are fledging and just learning to fly. The parents will still feed them and look out for them, and no further input is required on our behalf. Lightning never strikes twice in the same place. In fact it does, and frequently. You don't want to be there when it happens. If it didn't, lightning rods would be redundant. You don't replace your lightning rod after each strike. People often confuse an independent media for an unbiased one. Unbiased news media simply does not exist. The only unbiased media you can have is a dry statement of facts, like a Wikipedia article. Even then, simply choosing what to cover can contain bias. There is media that supports the current capitalist status quo. There is media which supports the right wing. There is socialist media. There is media which serves a multitude of special interests. But media is always written for a reason, even if it's a benign one, like your local paper. The real question is, what is the underlying analysis of this media, and is that analysis correct? You can shove a million Fox News articles in my face. It's not fair and balanced for me to read one every day, just to get a range of sources. Their analysis is 95% bullshit and that never changes. Some boomers might disagree with me, okay. But give me that unbiased / balance sources crap. News media is always produced for a reason. Edit people talking about CNN. Yeah, they are full of shit too. Here's a media source with actual quality analysis. Yes, they are indeed biased. Biased toward the working class. The most people only use 10% of their brain's capacity thing. Utterly ridiculous. The brain is a giant, metabolically expensive, staggeringly complex structure. Why on earth would our bodies grow something like that and then not use it? You're almost certainly right, but it just makes me think of my friend that bought a £2,500 MacBook and only uses it for Word and web browsing. Don't worry, that just means that it's tiny. That shampoo has to make bubbles to be effective. Bubbles are artificially added just to let you know that you are doing a good job at cleaning your hair, and because you wouldn't buy a shampoo that doesn't foam now, would you? Also, it doesn't have to taste that bad, not that I tried. Flavors and vomitives are added to prevent accidental poisoning. Vomitives. Well, till a new word. Its meaning seems apparent. Emetics is the right word. Same with toothpaste, it foams in order to give you that clean feeling. Pro tip: brush your teeth dry and feel your teeth with your tongue until they feel very smooth and then brush with toothpaste. This ensures you get all the bacteria off and then go in with the fluoride/sensitivity/freshness toothpaste. Source: was a dental assistant for years.